Hi, Dan Sussman here. We're going to be talking in this presentation about compare and contrast paragraphs. And I've actually broken this down into two separate presentations so you can approach them in smaller chunks than trying to tackle the whole thing in one big video. So the first part, we're going to talk about pre-writing. You may already be familiar with the terms compare and contrast, and you may already know what compare and contrast paragraphs are about. But as a lead-in, let's discuss the terms. When we compare things, we talk about the ways in which they are alike. For example, here's a picture of two men riding bikes together. Both men are athletic. Both men are riding bicycles. Both men are wearing helmets. These are comparisons. Here's a picture of two puppies. Both puppies are tan. Both puppies are sleeping. That's another comparison. In both cases, we are talking about the ways in which they are alike. When we contrast things, we talk about the ways in which they are different. For example, here's a picture of popcorn and some candy canes. The popcorn is salty, the candy canes are sweet. Another contrast you want to make, the popcorn is relatively soft and candy canes are hard. Here's a picture of a unicycle and a car. Well, contrast, yes, to compare them, they're both modes of transportation, but if you wanted to contrast them, you would say, well, unicycle has one wheel or one tire, but the car has four. That's the most obvious difference, and I'm sure you can see others there as well. So let's compare. Let's take an example here. We've got a porcelain cup and we've got a paper cup from Starbucks. Now, you can't compare them. Both of these are containers that hold beverages, drinks. Both are usually used for serving hot beverages, usually coffee or tea. So there's an area of comparison between those two. But we can also contrast them. If we take the cup on the left, the teacup, it's made of porcelain. It's very old in all likelihood. It's delicate or fragile. In other words, if you drop it, it will break. And it's a valuable keepsake. That is to say, it's something that might be handed down generation to generation in your family. It's something you want to hold on to. The Starbucks cup, on the other hand, it's made of paper. It was probably manufactured very recently. It's sturdy. If you drop it, it won't break, and it's sturdy enough to hold hot liquids, even though it's made of paper. But it's a cheap throwaway. Nobody would take a paper Starbucks cup and hand it down as some sort of family keepsake. So these are ways in which these two objects are different. When we write a compare and contrast essay or a compare and contrast paragraph, what we are going to do is discuss the way two or more things are the same and the ways in which they are different. So, as in all things with writing, you want to start off by organizing. You don't want to just jump in and write, particularly if you are just feeling your way through the English language as a new language for you. We need to organize. So, one way to do this, and there are several, and we'll discuss them, is graphically. What I've put up on the slide here is a Venn diagram, and those of you who are familiar with math will probably know what a Venn diagram is. On the left side we have a circle that in which we have the porcelain cups domain and things that are unique to the porcelain cup. So I put porcelain, old, delicate, valuable, keepsake over there. On the right side we have the Starbucks domain, paper, new, sturdy, cheap, and disposable. And please note that there is symmetry, there is balance. If I talk about the quality of one of these objects on one side, such as the material it's made of, porcelain in one case, paper in the other, I have to talk about the same quality on the other side. So you have porcelain, paper, old, new, delicate, sturdy, valuable, and cheap and disposable. We have that center area in the Venn diagram, however, the center that is common to both circles. And this is where you would put, in organizing, this is where you would put the qualities that are common to these objects, used for drinking, used for hot beverages. It falls on both sides. So that's one way to organize your thinking a little bit when you are coming up with comparisons and contrasts between things or people or places. Venn diagrams are not the only way to organize, compare, and contrast essays or paragraphs. There are some ways of organizing that are a little more elaborate and perhaps a little more useful. So I'd like to show you one. Here we have the map of the United States, and I'm going to do a compare, contrast, or prepare a compare, contrast essay about what I consider to be my two home states. First is New Jersey with the circle around it towards the upper right-hand corner of the slide. It's a little state. And the other state is Arizona, where I've lived for more than 20 years, and that's down in the desert southwest. So Arizona and New Jersey, two states that have a lot in common, but a lot of things that are different as well. When we're writing compare and contrast essays or paragraphs, we want to discuss both of these qualities. So, first of all, the comparisons. I draw a diagram with Arizona on the left, New Jersey on the right. You can do it the other way if you want, doesn't matter. But the first thing I do is put a box below both of them with the comparisons. Both are states, okay. Both are next to and are influenced by bigger states. In the case of New Jersey, it's got New York City on one side of it, and toward the southwest it has the city of Philadelphia. Arizona is next to California, which has a big influence on the way things happen here. And both are attractive vacation spots. Here in Arizona, we get visitors from all over the world visiting our deserts in the Grand Canyon, while New Jersey is known for its beautiful beaches and oceanfront. Okay, those are the comparisons I'm going to talk about in my paragraph. Now I have to think about contrasts, and I come up with three areas, three things that I'm going to contrast. And I put them in boxes below the comparison. Well, let's see. One thing I'm going to talk about is climate. The New Jersey climate, temperate throughout most of the year. It's hot and humid in the summer. It's cold in the winter. Yes, they get snow and ice and all that. But four very distinct seasons and very livable. On the left side in Arizona, we have varied climates here. In the deserts where I live, it is very hot and dry, and in the summer it is blazing hot. And in the mountains, not far from the deserts, however, it's much more temperate. They have more of a four-season year with autumn and winter and snow and ice and all of that. So there's climate. That's one quality I want to compare, or contrast rather, between New Jersey and Arizona. Another contrast is size. New Jersey over on the right, physically, it is one of the smallest states in the United States. While it's very populous, it's not very big physically. It's only almost 7,800 square miles. Arizona, on the other hand, is very big, 114,000 square miles. That is 14 times the size of New Jersey. More than 14 times the size of New Jersey, I think. Maybe not. And then we have the topography. New Jersey, not a staggering bowl you over, knock you out topography, but it has rolling hills, beautiful beaches, some very attractive areas. Whereas Arizona, big drama, deserts, impressive mountains and forests, canyons, very, very dramatic landscape. So what I have here is a chart in which I've got my comparisons up top in the green box and a few detailed, some more detailed information in this chart below in the contrast section. And in the next part of this presentation, we'll talk more about how you put this information together.